We're the Guzmans.
I'm Adrian.
And I'm Jessica.
We've been married for 9 years, and early on we were told that the first year of marriage was going to be the hardest year for us as a married couple, and that was one of the reasons why I listened to my youth pastor at the time, and he told me to take 1 year and to not be involved in anything and to just focus that first year of my marriage to my wife and to really give her the time and attention that she would need during that first year.
I think in doing that and listening to that wise advice, it really did lay the groundwork for our marriage. We always knew that we wanted to grow our family, and we got pregnant and miscarried, and later on got pregnant again and miscarried again, and that was a time that was tough, but we didn't let it break us. We definitely grew closer together during that time and closer to God. And so we really just tried to, seek God and seek His will for our life and our path, to see what He had in store for us. So one of the things that we had talked about before we ever got married was adoption. We both had a heart for adoption. We had both been out of the country and visited orphanages in other countries, and so that was something that was near to our hearts and something that we had discussed, and we thought, maybe this is what we're supposed to do. Maybe this is a path that God has laid out for us.
So I started doing research on adoption, and we quickly found out that we didn't meet the requirements for the adoption. We weren't old enough, and we also weren't married long enough to meet those requirements for adoption at that time.
So even though that was something that it seemed like the door was closed, it didn't mean that we forgot about it or that we felt like God was saying no, never. It was just more like, no, not right now. This isn't the time. 2 years later, we had our first child, Aiden, who's now 5, going to be 6 soon. And almost 2 years exactly later, we had Jacob, who is now 3 and will be 4 in about a month. So one of our greatest joys in parenthood is just seeing our boys grow up and gain their independence, just becoming more and more self-sufficient. We've really loved watching their unique personalities develop, being able to see their gifts and their abilities come out, and it's exciting to think this is only the beginning because they're so young and there's so much more that they're still going to do and that they're still going to conquer and they're still going to accomplish. And so it is so exciting to see that journey unfold, and you're there and you're walking with them and trying to help them discover these things and lead them in the right direction. And it's just been really neat to see that. Even with 2 biological kids, adoption is still something that has constantly been on our hearts, been on our minds, something that we've always come back and talked about from time to time. But no time's ever seemed like the right time.
And now that our 2 boys are just at a good age, we kind of realized, we hadn't talked about adoption in a while, and the conversation came up again, and so we thought, let's go ahead and look and see if we meet those requirements now. So once we looked into adoption again, we did realize that we did qualify and we met all the requirements for adoption.
So one of the things that I really want my kids now and my future children to know and feel is unconditional love. I feel like every child needs to know what it feels like to be loved no matter what. We may not always agree with the choices that our kids make, and we may not always agree with the path that they choose, but they need to know that we love them and that we are going to stand behind them and try to guide them and support them however we can, no matter what. And I think that every child deserves that and needs that support system.
One of the things about our marriage is that we've always tried to keep God as the center of everything that we do. And that plays a huge part in our raising of our two boys. We pray with them every night. We've talked to our boys about adoption and that there are some little boys and little girls out there that don't have forever moms and dads, and we truly feel like God has called us to adoption. And we've tried to emphasize to both of our boys that if God calls us to do something, we don't need to take that and not do anything with it, but we need to react to it and be obedient to God's calling. And that is the reason why we are pursuing adoption. And happy to say that I think both of our boys now are on board, and we're truly excited about bringing our future child home.
Now, I think we're just looking to find that one that we can make a difference in and really focus our time and our attention on our entire family loving that little child and giving them the support and the love and the forever home that they deserve and that they need, so that we can make a difference in that child's life. And we do realize that it's going to change our family forever, and it's going to be a change for the better. I mean, we're going into this thinking, oh, we're going to change this little child's life, but in reality, this child's going to change our life.